ਉਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਚਰਚਾ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਚੱਲਾਂਗੇ। ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦ ਸ਼ੋ, Chris Luxon.
Hey, good to be with you. How are you?
Very good, very good. Doing well, and you're all over the place. I hope you're looking forward for campaign launch this coming weekend.
Yeah, really excited about it, actually. It's going to be a big event, and I know we've got so much enthusiasm building and people are excited, and it's been great to even just watch over the last couple of weeks, the number of signs that have gone up across the piece and the amount of door knocking and the leaflets being delivered, and it's been wonderful. I think our team's really excited and enthused, and it's a real privilege to be in an election and a great responsibility, and our team's excited about it.
Excellent, excellent. Chris, looking at the overall picture and the national policies at the moment, especially with the medical people with the medical conditions or cancer, I remember that most of the people, even from my community, they used to go to Australia for the treatment. And lucky we are actually looking forward for the new policy announced by you about the cancer treatment.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the deal. There's 25,000 New Zealanders every year that get diagnosed with cancer. Sadly, there's 10,000 that actually die. And when you look at cancer treatments in New Zealand versus Australia, actually New Zealand has a 15% higher mortality rate. And part of that is that we don't have access to the drugs that Australia has. In fact, there's 13 cancer treatments that the New Zealand Cancer Control Agency says that actually would have a big benefit in either extending life or saving life. And so we want to make sure that we can access those drugs and those treatments for New Zealanders, and that's what we're going to do.
Excellent, excellent. In the meantime, the ruling party keep claiming that the retail crime is actually decreasing, but you're not accepting that.
No, I think you just go out and talk to any retailer, and I talk to them most weeks, and I can tell you they're incredibly under huge pressure. The reality is we need to have serious consequences for these serious young offenders, including our military academies. We need to make sure also that we actually have, police have all the tools to tackle the gangs. When you talk to places like Countdown and you see there's been a 300% plus increase in theft, there's been a 300% plus sort of threatening behaviour or assault behaviour on staff. That is their reality. Go to any mall, talk to any jewellery store, certainly go out, talk to the dairies and superettes, and they're under huge pressure. So that's why I keep saying this government has been soft on crime, and we're going to be tough on crime and actually going to back the police, tackle gangs, serious consequences for serious young offenders, stronger sentencing. That's what we have to do.
And are you going to ban cell phones from the schools?
Yeah, we are, because at the end of the day, all the research internationally, the schools in New Zealand that have already banned them here, they're getting much better learning outcomes for their children. And again, I'm focused on outcomes and results, and our results academically for New Zealand kids are poor and deteriorating, and I really want them focusing. And I know the phones are a huge disturbance and a huge distraction. And I also, by banning them over lunchtime and playtime, we're actually saying really clearly, look, we're actually also investing in your well-being, because we actually want kids interacting with each other, not bullying each other over social media channels. So it's very simple. No phones at school. Yeah.
In the meantime, looking at the Nationals' plan to provide Kiwi savers with more freedom and choice over where they invest, what that means.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of opportunities, Paminda, around new infrastructure. And if you think about the roads that we want to build, if you think about build to rent projects that we'd love to get going here in New Zealand, the superannuation funds or KiwiSaver funds would quite like to invest in some of those products. And so as a result, what we're saying here is, rather than having, you can keep the money as it is today, but if you also want to participate in different investment vehicles, you could actually split your, have a couple of providers, for example, that would actually be investing in different products and services. And so it just gives you more choice. It's your money, you're in control of it, and you have your choices, and you should get advice about it. But ultimately it gives some people an opportunity to invest in other classes of assets and investments.
How are we going to stop the brain drain going across the ditch?
Yeah, well, that's why I think there was 34,000 New Zealand citizens that left in the last year, and that is a real worry, because And really what we've got to do is just build a better country. And that means get our economy fixed and rebuilt, deal with inflation, because we're the only country at the moment with high interest rates, high inflation, and also in a recession. We're the only country in a recession in Asia Pacific. So we've really got to fix the economy so that people can see that if they work hard, they can get ahead, whereas at the moment they don't feel that. The second thing we've got to do is restore law and order so people feel safe in their homes, in their communities, and their businesses. And that's a basic right that they should have to feel. And the third thing is, if you've got a family and you're thinking about the future, you want to know that you can access healthcare when you need it. And you also want to know that your kids are going to be set up with a world-class education system. So I think, working on the economy, rebuilding the economy, restoring law and order, delivering better health and education, those package of things will actually say to New Zealanders, look, this is a great country. This has got a great future for me and my family. I can start a business here and take a risk and do something and build a global business from New Zealand. But I also can raise my family and make a contribution to my community as a result.
Excellent. So what is happening in the parliament right now?
Well, we're actually in our last week of Parliament before it's what we call adjourned for the election campaign, and then we'll regroup after the election again. But so we've only got 3 days in Parliament: Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and it's been a bit like the end of school term, to be honest, the last few weeks. So it's been a bit crazy, but we just got we've got 3 more days of Parliament, and then all the parties go home and get into the campaign properly.
In the meantime, looking at the party list, I mean, I do acknowledge the multiculturalism which has been acknowledged by the party list when you're looking at the overall picture, gender equality, diversity. But what is your take about the party list?
Yeah, look, I mean, what we've tried to balance there is actually having seasoned and experienced MPs that know how the process works, but also wanting to bring in new people that have different skills, abilities, and experiences. And so, and that's really to augment the team that we have. And as I keep saying, we haven't had the diversity that we need to have in the party because we had such a bad election result in 2020. But we've worked incredibly hard, as you can see on that list, to attract really, really top-class talent to the National Party. And I'm really proud of all the talent that we've got. I think we've had 5 or 6 candidates actually standing from the Indian community across New Zealand, which has been brilliant. And also I'm very confident, that we'll be able to make sure we have representation through what we call the net list, because a lot of people ranked in the list will actually win their seats, and they get that creates slots and opportunities for others to come through on what we call the party list. So, and as list MP. So I'm really excited about it. I think we've got the balance right. And when you go through our history, we have been at our very best as a party when we are what I call a national party, meaning that we take our politics and our principles and our beliefs and our ideas, and we take them to all communities across New Zealand and talk to everyone as a mainstream political party. So we've made good progress. There'll always be more to do, and we'll keep working hard at it, but it's a pretty good place, and I think we've got a good balance there.
Excellent. In the meantime, what are you looking at the coalition with the ACT Party, and how you look at is there any chance to having coalition with Uncle Peter's?
Look, I mean, I'm not focused on any other political party at the moment, and you'd expect me to say that, but it is real because I just know that last election people tried to help us by voting strategically and thinking they would vote for a minor party. And I'm just telling you now, we are running across the whole of the country what we call a 2-tick campaign. And that means you vote for the national candidate, but most importantly, you must party vote national, because otherwise there's a real risk that we don't change the government. And we would need to change the government. And the only way to do that is to party vote national. And so frankly, putting your vote with other minor parties, thinking you're trying to help us or being strategic or clever, actually risks not winning the election, and that's important. So, so my message is simple: just don't overthink it. You've just got to party vote national.
Okay. Last but not least, about the immigration policy, very close to the migrant communities. Yourself and Erica working very hard on the immigration policies. But in the meantime, views on immigration policies, especially parent visa and resident visa, in the near future?
Yeah, we'll have more to say about that shortly. So, we're very much open to that, and we're very interested in what we've seen in Canada and other places, as Erica has talked about publicly before. So, with multiple entry visas and as long as people can look after health insurance. So I think, we're very interested in those ideas. We'll have more to say, and Erica will talk about that very shortly.
And are we bringing down the basic food prices?
Well, the way we have to, right? We have to bring food prices down. We have to bring the prices of everything down. And that means working on the causes of inflation. And what drives inflation, and what do we have to do? We have to make sure that we're not passing costs on to businesses that lead to higher prices and more inflation, because people have to take their prices up because costs are going up. We have to make sure we free up immigration settings and also get rid of the red tape so businesses can grow. We need to go through all the government spending that's wasting so much money so that it's not driving into inflation. And we need to make sure that we also give people tax relief, so that I'd sooner you keep money in your pocket because you'll spend it and save it better than Chris Hipkins will spend it. And they're doing such a bad job spending it that they don't deserve to get it. So I'd sooner give you some tax relief to keep it in your own pocket. And then we've got to get this Reserve Bank saying, let's get inflation back under 3%. And when we get inflation down, then we get interest rates down. And get interest rates down, the economy starts to grow again. And then we keep people in employment, which is really what we've got to do.
I can see your close relationships in the past and even now with the Indian community, even looking at this picture. Auckland's Mayor Wayne Brown actually visiting India at the moment. When are you be going to India?
Well, I want to go in my first year. I've said that because I really want to deepen the connection between India and New Zealand. I love India. I spend a lot of time there. As some of you know, when I was working at Unilever, we had a great business in India called Hindustan Lever. And big business there. So I used to go to Mumbai a lot in the old days. And then when I was working at Air New Zealand, I did a lot of work with Air India, and I'd go to New Delhi occasionally as well. So I love the country. It's made up of incredible talent. And you've seen that in New Zealand, right? Indian Kiwis have done so well here. They're in all stratas of society, but they are model citizens and lots of great role models for us to look at, because, you guys leave your family and your friends and your culture and your language behind. Often you come to New Zealand, you work incredibly hard, 2 or 3 jobs to get that first deposit for a business or for a house. You pay your taxes, you get your kids to school, you never take welfare. It's an incredible, inspiring story that I hope all New Zealanders are inspired about. But we have opportunities to deepen the relationship with India, because now India is the most populous country on earth. And by 2030, it'll be the 3rd biggest economy in the world.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, under this government, our trade between New Zealand and India has fallen. It's just over $2 billion. But if you look at China, which is similar size, it's $40 billion. So there's huge upside and huge opportunity. And it will be hard and it will be difficult trying to find access to some of our products into India. But actually, we have to deepen that relationship big time. And I'm confident we can.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time and for this corridor. Chris, we look forward to see you on this coming weekend in Dewdrop Event Centre in Manukau.
Thanks, Palinda, and thanks for all the work that you're doing, mate. You're doing a great job. So you take care, won't you? All right.
Excellent.
See ya.
Thank you very much. ਦੋਸਤੋ ਇਹ ਸਨ ਕ੍ਰਿਸ ਲਕਸਨ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਲੀਡਰ ਆਫ ਆਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਨੇ, ਔਰ ਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇਸ ਵਾਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਮੀਦ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕ੍ਰਿਸ ਲਕਸਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਮੁਲਕ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਦੇ ਅਹੁਦੇ ਤੇ ਬਹਿਣਗੇ, ਜੇਕਰ ਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਐਕਟ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦਾ ਗੱਠਜੋੜ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਬਾਤਾਂ ਚੱਲਦੀਆਂ ਰਹਿੰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਚੱਲ ਕੇ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀਰ ਮਿੰਟੂ ਸਰਕਾਰੀਆ ਹੋਣਾ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਚਰਚਾ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਕ੍ਰਿਸ ਲਕਸਨ ਹੋਣਾ ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਅਲੱਗ-ਅਲੱਗ ਨੀਤੀਆਂ ਉੱਤੇ ਚਰਚਾ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਇਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਮੈਂਟਸ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ। ਸਤਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਬਾਠ, ਵੀਰ ਕਮਲਦੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਤਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਪਧਿਆਣਾ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੈਂਟ ਪਾਲਿਸੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਬੜੀ ਕਾਮਨ ਜੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਸਾਡੇ ਮੁਲਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਭਾਈਚਾਰੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਓਵਰਸਟੇਟਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਇਸ ਵਕਤ ਪੂਰੀ ਨਜ਼ਰ ਰੱਖੀ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ। ਮੁਲਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੁੱਲ 14,000 ਦੇ ਕਰੀਬ ਓਵਰਸਟੇਟਸ ਨੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਵੈਲਿਡ ਵੀਜ਼ਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਔਰ ਕਮਾਲ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਸਿਰਫ 1369 ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਭਾਰਤੀ ਮੂਲ ਦੇ ਨੇ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਬਹੁਤੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਨੰਬਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਗੁਜਰਾਤੀ ਨੇ। ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ 'ਚ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਸਮਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪ੍ਰਿਅੰਕਾ ਰਾਧਾ ਕ੍ਰਿਸ਼ਨ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਮੁਲਕ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਚਰਚਾ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਹੋਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ। ਤੇ ਦੂਜੇ ਪਾਸੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਾਪਟੋਏ ਇਲਾਕੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਓਟਾਹੂ ਪੈਨਮਿਓਰ ਦਾ ਜਾਣਿਆ ਪਛਾਣਿਆ ਇਲਾਕਾ ਔਰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਗੜ੍ਹ ਹੈ, ਇੱਥੋਂ ਨਿੱਕੇ ਵੀਰ ਨਵਤੇਜ ਰੰਧਾਵਾ ਹੋਣਾ ਦੀ ਉਮੀਦਵਾਰੀ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਸੁਖਨੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਹੋਣੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਫੁੱਲ ਸਪੋਰਟ। ਬੜੀ ਮਿਹਰਬਾਨੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੀ ਭੈਣਾਂ ਭਰਾਵਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ ਇਸ ਮਾਮਲੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਥ ਤੇ ਸਹਿਯੋਗ ਦਿੱਤਾ। ਅਸੀਂ ਉਮੀਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਵੱਖ-ਵੱਖ ਪਾਲਿਸੀਜ਼ ਦੀ ਨਜ਼ਰਸਾਨੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੱਕ ਵੱਖ-ਵੱਖ ਸਮਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਵੱਖ-ਵੱਖ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਅਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਵਾਲੇ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪੋਲੀਟੀਕਲ ਕਮੈਂਟਰੀ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਰਹਾਂਗੇ। ਮੈਂ ਉਮੀਦ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਦਿਨ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੂਬਸੂਰਤ ਰਹੇਗਾ। ਦਿਨ ਦੇ ਅਗਲੇ ਹਿੱਸੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਜਾਣੇ ਪਛਾਣੇ ਪੇਸ਼ਕਾਰ, ਸੀਨੀਅਰ ਪੇਸ਼ਕਾਰ ਬੀਬਾ ਸੁਰਿੰਦਰ ਗਰਚਾ ਜੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਰਹਿਣਗੇ। ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਸੱਜਰੀ ਸਵੇਰ ਆਪਣੀ ਖੂਬਸੂਰਤ ਨਿਰੰਤਰ ਰਵਾਨਗੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਚੱਲਦਾ ਜਾਵੇ।